Welcome to The Reflective Leader. I'm Tony Marchese, and I'm joined by Doug Walters.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. We've done this pretty recently, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
It's nice to be back. In fact, we're doing 2 shows in 1 week. And,
that has been a while since we've done that.
That's a record.
You know, it is.
Yeah, it is. Well, I knew that we would not get through our content last time, and I think that right now we're just starting to get into the good stuff. And so I can't think of a better way to spend a morning.
Well, good.
And to sit here with you talking about our owner's manual.
Oh,
so,
okay. We're going to actually get down to the nitty-gritty.
We're going to
today.
do that.
Yeah.
I'd like to start, though, by rereading a quote that we left everyone with last time.
And
that's by Parker Palmer.
Parker Palmer,
yeah.
Yes.
He says that we arrive in this world with birthright gifts. Then we spend the first half of our life abandoning them or letting others disabuse us of them. As young people, we are surrounded by expectations that may have little to do with who we really are. Expectations held by people not trying to discern our selfhood, but to fit us into slots. And I think that kind of summed up what we talked about during our last program.
Right.
And it's this whole idea of navigating through life and all of its turns and the lush foliage and the rocks and all of the challenges, you know, that we face. And I think that what we're talking about today is that that's not going to go away. You know, life is messy,
right.
Life is complex, life isn't always easy. But there might be some information that we can discern about ourselves that might make it a little bit easier and definitely make it a lot more fulfilling.
That's exactly right.
So I think that since it is early in the morning, another great thing to do is to talk about Aristotle. So,
oh, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on.
Well, you know, as you know, Doug, and as our viewers probably know, Aristotle is one of the ancient philosophers. Some philosophers say that all of philosophy can be summed up into the Platonic camp, Plato, and the Aristotelian camp, which is Aristotle. And Aristotle has a lot to say, but one of the concepts that he addresses is the concept of entelechy. And you know how much I love philosophy, and I like to bring
and
it.
And I also know how you like big words. You know, you just love,
you
know, being able to say you know how to pronounce them.
Well, we are going to bring the big words. We're going to bring entelechy into our conversation today.
Good.
And something that Aristotle talked about, you know, 2,500 years ago has great relevance to this conversation about birthright gifts, to this conversation about a personal owner's manual that I believe we all have. Aristotle said that in all living matter, that living matter is in a state of becoming. And contained within matter are entelechy. And that's a Greek word. It is an agent or a guiding force or a driving force. And what Aristotle says is that these entelechy are able to propel that living thing from a state of potentiality to a state of actuality. And he likens this concept to that of an acorn, and contained within that acorn are these entelechy, and provided that the conditions are right, someday that acorn has the capacity to become an oak tree because of those entelechy. And I think that people have entelechy too.
I do too.
I think that they have entelechy too. And that oak tree idea, that's the acorn's fullest potential. And discovering and nurturing our entelechy can help us move from merely existing toward living, I think. And you know, doing so though is contrary to how we've been coached, because these entelechy are inward. You know, they're there, but they're not always very easily discernible. They're not always on the surface, I guess you could say. And so, you know, as we go through life, we're encouraged to look around and outside of ourselves for guidance on how we are to relate to the rest of the world. And when I was doing my dissertation, to go back to, you said big words, you know, that I like, there was a big word that I used that I really think kind of laid the foundation for a lot of what I wrote about, and that is pneumastasis. And it's the idea of one's spirit being right with the world around it. And it's like it's a cohabitation, a healthy cohabitation between oneself and one's external world. And I think that when a person acknowledges their entelechy and they develop those things and channel them in strategic ways, that idea of pneumastasis is very much present. That idea of being right with oneself, but also with how the self relates to the world around.
You know, I don't disagree with you at all, but one of the things I want the audience to understand is that it doesn't take entelechy as a word in the Greek to understand the word becoming. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very, very important for the audience to understand that through our experiences and work over the years, that we have found both collectively and individually that becoming is a real process, and that there are times in life where we've been told, you know, i.e. grow up, you know, change your habits, or had you thought about this? And so I think in general society has forgotten that becoming is an active verb. You're in the process of doing that on a continual basis. And I think that many aspects of the institutions in the United States today have forgotten about that one nuanced concept, and that we believe that when you finish high school, for example, that all 18, 17, 18-year-olds should have and be at the same place. Well, I can promise you, sir, that's not the case. And then the next stage would be, you know, any kind of professional development, training, degrees, certification, or internships or apprenticeships. And I would want the audience to understand that we firmly believe that this is a lifelong process on becoming. Now, take that, and then trying to find the agent or the circumstances by which you can figure out how to do that becomes very important. And that's one of the things that we'll talk about in a few moments. I know we'll go into this, and that is finding someone that is relatable in your life, that can sort of be the model, the mentor, the coach, the individual that helps you continue to become.